Here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Transformational Tuesday. It is February 11th, um, 2025, and it is Heart Health Month. So this is actually one of my favorite months to host Transformational Tuesday. My name is Kirsten Evenson, and I've been facilitating for over 2 years, and it's just been a very rich experience to mine into our Juice Plus community and beyond to just find the most inspirational and talented people. And tonight is no exception with my dear friend and partner in leadership, Caprice Crebar. Um, she and I live 2 states away, but every time we see each other, it is truly a heart connection. And Caprice is just an amazing networker and connector. So she has over 30 years of corporate and entrepreneurial leadership experience. 18 years in the health and wellness industry. You've got me beat by about 10 years there, Caprice. She's a dynamic leader and a visionary entrepreneur. She owns and operates 2 companies dedicated to enhancing entrepreneurial excellence. So one of these is the Network Worldwide, which she is the founder of. It's a thriving multi-chapter networking organization elevating entrepreneurial women through vibrant community connections, strategic resources, and opportunities for growth. And then, surprise to me, I knew about HeartLink Caprice, but I did not know about you also being the founder of the Joy of Wealth. She's guided by the mission where health and wealth connect, your best life awaits. So, Caprice empowers entrepreneurial women and men to prioritize their health with the same focus they bring to their businesses. So, with this impressive resume, I'm just so excited to turn the rest of our next 25 minutes over to Caprice. And her topic tonight is the U factor, leveraging the one thing no one else has, and how to discover and unlock your unique impact. So, with that, Caprice, I'm going to put myself on mute and let you take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Kirsten, and for asking me to do this. It's a true honor to support the team. And I I put this presentation together for presenting to my communities outside of Juice Plus. So it was nice to be able to alter it a bit for all of you. And I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. This will be 25 minutes. And I'd like to ask you all to have a piece of paper, something to write on, because there'll be a little exercise. Uh, what I wanted to share today is, let me share the screen, is the U factor. There's one thing that no one else can offer, and that's you. And so paying attention to your U factor and how you put the U factor out there and how you get it out there is really, really important. So with that, um, trust in the individual. Trust is huge, don't you think? I mean, trust is why we make decisions to work with people, and the stats prove that. 81% of consumers make purchasing decisions based on the trust in the person, not in the brand. So even though we've had an amazing brand with Juice Plus, I mean, we're so fortunate to have something that we could stand behind and just have an unshakable belief in because of its research, its longevity. Even with that, they make decisions because of you. It's your ability to build relationship and instill confidence that drives purchasing decisions. 86% of people are more likely to do business with someone who's authentic and relatable. People want to connect with a real human being, not a polished brand facade. So when you're out and you're interacting and you're just out there in life, and especially in business, let people get to know, give them a little window into who you are and not just, a billboard for whatever it is you're sharing. And 92% of people trust recommendations from individuals over branded advertisements. So those are just some of the key stats I'd like you to keep in mind as I continue through this presentation. So the power is you. So how do you leverage your you factor to rise above the crowd? First I want to share that there are over 31 million entrepreneurs in the United States, almost 600 entrepreneurs worldwide. So we're not alone. And chances are that when you're out and about in life and in community and business networking rooms, that there's going to be several other health and nutrition entrepreneurs in the same room. Have you been in those spaces where there's been other people in nutrition and wellness? It seems like there's a lot of them, right? And luckily there's a lot of people in the world, in the world, because there, even though there's a lot of nutrition people, and I think these numbers are low, but it's what I researched and found. And nutrition, 20,000 companies, 700,000 sales professionals in the US, coaches, because we are a type of coach, 160,000 coaches, that's got to be higher. But that probably is a very it's not including everything, but these are still large numbers. So you're always going to be in a crowded marketplace. And it seems like health and wellness coaches are just everywhere, right? So your product and service, Juice Plus, is only half the equation. The difference is you. And a key insight is that when all else is the same, we're all talking about the same product, the same price, the same pitch. It's exactly the same. Why does someone choose you? So what is the you factor? It's your unique energy, your unique story, your personality that you bring to a business relationship. It's your authenticity. It's that sets you apart in an overly polished, ad saturated world. The reason clients don't just buy a product, they buy you. That's the you factor. And it's interesting that, and I don't know, did you know this, that the probability of someone having the same DNA as you is almost zero. Even identical twins have slight genetic differences, making everybody biologically unique. So what that says is that no one can replicate your unique combination of skills, perspective, personality in business relationships. You're the only one. So we're talking today about how you leverage that. So the power of your uniqueness, why the you factor matters. It matters because your story, you've got a unique story, and your story is your strength. And we talk about that a lot. I mean, in all these years working with my mentors like Nikki Cotton, we always talk about that why. What is your story that drives you to do what you do in the Juice Plus company? Customers love to hear the story because it connects them with your authentic self, and there's opportunities to attract people who relate to your story. So knowing your story is really important to attracting people um, and connecting with people. Relationships are greater than transactions. So in sales, in our there's a lot of other organizations with really aggressive and hardcore sales by numbers, and those transactions are important. Obviously, the end deal for us is we want to help more people get healthy, right? But relationships are first. Friendships first. Those will funnel into and convert to transactions. So people remember, it's that Maya Angelou quote that people don't remember what you did or what you said, they remember how you make them feel. And so creating those relationships is key to one day having them join your customer base or your team. You're the differentiator. No one else, as I said, has your exact personality, approach, or passion. So a key insight is your uniqueness is your competitive edge. It really, truly is. So capitalize on it, because no one can do what you do in the way you do it. So what's the new marketing reality? The new marketing reality is you, not ads. And this is because of two key things. One is that social media algorithms prioritize authenticity. Have you ever noticed where you haven't talked to somebody in 30 years and suddenly they gush about something on social media? Usually it's some, challenge that they're having in life. And suddenly thousands of people that wouldn't normally see their their post. Now it's in your feed. And so the algorithms in social media, prioritize that authentic vulnerability. So it's not that you have to go in there and, tell your, have all your hardest things exposed, but just always showing up as you and letting people in. I like to say that window to let them in to your life. It could be a small window. It's going to increase your reach. And posts featuring real people get 3 times more engagement than branded content. So we've got some great branded content. I would recommend that when you use that content that you always couple it with an authentic description, something that ties your story, your passion, your personality to the promotional content that you're using. And secondly, over 70% of consumers have ad fatigue. So if you aren't there, the you factor, and it's just an ad, that's most likely going to be scrolled by. You want to stop the scroll, as Ray Higdon taught us years ago. It's that it's like the content is a marching band walking by the sidewalk of people. You only have a moment to look, and people are not going to choose ads. They're going to choose something they can connect, a human being they can connect with. So a key insight here is hiding behind a logo or a product makes you the same as everyone else. Show up as you in every space that you occupy. So here's where we're going to do the activity. So does everybody have a paper and a pen? Pencil? Thumbs up? Okay, cool. So we're going to find your unique edge. So first, I'd love you to imagine all the benefits that Juice Plus offers, all the tremendous benefits, all the things that you would, share with someone with given the opportunity. And just toss all those above your head, like into the cloud above you. Okay. They're no longer here. They're floating above you somewhere. And they're suspended. And picture them floating separate from yourself. And then ask yourself, and I'll ask you, what's left? You're left. You're the most important piece. So I'd like you to spend 1 minute free flow writing. Jot down everything that makes you who you are. Your story, your values, your unique qualities, what you like, anything, how many kids you have. Do your best to, in 1 minute, fill as much space as that paper as you can. So don't think much about it, just free flow. Anything about you and your whole entire life. And put it on that piece of paper. And I'm going to time you starting now. Ten seconds. Okay. How did that feel? Did anybody have an epiphany or realize that there's so much you bring to the table that no one else can? So when you could elaborate this later. I only gave you 1 minute. So take some more time to do this later. And literally, if you only filled half the page, I guarantee you, just with a little bit more time and thought, and don't think of things like these are the 10 key things. Everything, experiences, feelings, what do you bring to the table no one else can? How can you show up? How do you show up authentically? What's different about you? Write anything so that you could fill that entire paper and then paste that paper up on your computer or somewhere where it always reminds you of your unique edge. So with all else equal, I think you guys are getting the point. The difference is you. So some of the things that you can do with that exercise is infuse the you factor into your messaging. So use the qualities that you identified in when you're posting in social media, website copy, conversations. I mean, if you fill that page up with all these things and you have that posted on your computer, you're always going to have ideas on something else that you can connect with someone on, or something else that you can offer that lets someone realize that you're someone who cares. It's just always infuse those things into the messaging. Share your story. I have a coach that I learned something from that I always use. And how many of you get asked the question, what do you do? All the time. So instead of just blurting out, I'm a health coach, I sell plants in a capsule. Ask them, how about if I tell you what I stand for? And that allows you to share your passion, your authenticity, your desire to make a difference in the world without just saying that I sell plants in a capsule. And it will also inspire conversation because then they're going to ask you, that sounds amazing. Tell me more. Or, how do you do that? So, how about if I ask, if I tell you what I stand for? Highlight your values. What drives you? What are your core values? I mean, those core values should be on that sheet. What's important to you? And when you have strong core values, those you people will know that about you without even opening your mouth. It just, if you're consistent and you're always stepping with your best foot forward and representing your core values. Share behind the scenes moments, the real you versus the polished you. So don't be afraid to get on Facebook Live to, share something about your life, that brings people in and makes them curious, and you don't have to have your hair all done and your makeup perfect. Be the real you. Show up consistently. So in all the places that you're in, the different social media spaces, the networking groups, the, in-person, virtual, wherever you are, be the same authentic you across all platforms and interactions. That builds trust. And if you're different one place, maybe very negative one place, and then they see you showing up somewhere else positive, and it's confusing. So be sure that you're representing, this you factor consistently. Personalize your client interactions. So use all of those unique qualities to create genuine, memorable connections. So, part of that is asking great questions. And we've gotten a lot of coaching from Nikki and the whole Juice Plus team on asking questions. It is the key. And when you ask good questions, then you learn things and you can connect and tie your experiences together, which builds trust. And always engage authentically. So this is important in social media. When you're in social media, pretend like you're in person. So if you're in groups on social media, I like to use the visual. If you were to walk into a networking luncheon, you would never walk past someone with a thumbs up. You would never do that. You would engage, you would say hello, you would engage in conversation, you would be your real you. So keep that in mind when you're doing anything in social media. Pretend you're in a real room, and that's going to create the dialogue that then will open little windows for more people to see what you're posting and get connected with you and trust you. So the key insight here is that your authenticity is the magnet that attracts the clients you want. Leverage your you factor and you can sell ice to an Eskimo. So this is important, and we all have the upper hand on this already. So wellness elevates the U factor. And there's a few reasons, there's many reasons, but a few key ones are that your health is your performance fuel. Poor health equals poor energy, poor focus, poor results. Thankfully, I've got my Luminate to help with that. But your health is really important. So we all are lucky. We have well, not lucky, we work at it, but make sure that you are walking the walk as much as possible to have strong health. Because entrepreneurs who prioritize their wellness are 3 times more likely to feel confident in their business. So if you feel well, you'll be able to show up as your best self. And wellness is contagious. So when you show up feeling your best in every interaction, you're actually inspiring confidence in others. And I was watching a webinar recently, and it was about social connection and how that impacts your health. And that's why, depression comes when people are lonely and so forth. But if you are feeling great and you have a social connection with someone, that is contagious. It's going to help them feel better. So be really prioritize your health. And I know you all are. So the key insight here is to show up with your best you factor. You must take care of your health. So great job, everybody. So key actions for you to take away to leverage the you factor. Number one, you've got that page that you already started with all the unique characteristics of yourself that no one else can offer. So craft your story. Take some time and first of all, take more time to fill up that page, get a bigger sheet of paper and fill that bigger sheet of paper up, and then reflect on that and craft your story. And then reference that often so that when you're posting and you're showing up, to use it in your pitches and online. Use it when you're interacting with people. And if you utilize all that information you just wrote about yourself and more, you'll have a lot of aspects of your story to share. So it's not always the same. Audit your online presence. So are you showing up authentically or are you hiding behind stock photos and ads? So the ads just don't get seen. I run a group and I've been running it for 10 years, and I look at the insights, and if people are just posting promotions, it could mean the difference between Facebook showing it to 7 people or 700 people. It's amazing the difference. Focus on authentic relationships. So one of my mottos is friendship first. So each interaction that you have with someone who could potentially be your client or your team member, start with a friendship first approach and show them that you genuinely care for them, just like you would a true friend. Doesn't mean they have to become your BFF, but it will make them feel loved and cared about genuinely. Commit to your wellness. Make one change this week. If there's anything, like do the shred 10 to the T, but do something this week to improve your health. It is your secret weapon. And leverage those values, highlight what you stand for and let it guide every interaction that you have with someone. And let your you factor shine. Really, just think, how can I shine out there in the world? Because I like to say, what are you, how are you showing up in the world with your gifts, talents, products, and services to serve others? And that's your shine. So get to know and get known. And you can do that. And I know some of you already do. I know Carrie leads a networking group in her community. I know Kirsten's involved in networking groups. It's the way that you fill your funnel per se. I don't like to call people a funnel, but that's the biggest complaint that entrepreneurs have is how do I talk to more people? How do more people find out who I am and what I stand for? It's, if you're not out there attending or leading local and virtual networking events, it's kind of like that analogy of if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there, does it still make a sound? It's kind of how it is with our business if we're not out being visible. A volunteer to support an event or an organization. Bless others by giving them service and helping your you factor stand out that way. Ask questions. Show people that you're more interested than interesting. People want to be, they love to be heard. They want to share, what they stand for. Ask them what they stand for. And they want to know that you care about what they're saying. So I always like to lead with that, being more interested than interesting and wanting to blab all my information on them first, which I always invite them to share first. And then shine by sharing. So in any space you're in, think first, how can I add value? Ask to speak at events. There's so many opportunities to speak, and you all have knowledge. You all have experience and knowledge to share. And you won't have those stages unless you ask. So ask your local communities, your networking groups, there's all kinds of virtual groups that offer online webinars and things like that so that you can elevate your you factor. Invite people to our Juice Plus events and other knowledge and skill building events personally. Let them know that you really want them there, that you care and that you think it'll add value for them and you'd love their feedback. Actively refer others. So give to grow is a philosophy that I have. If you're thinking about the other, how do I serve them first? It all comes around. So actively refer other people. They're grateful for it and they'll refer you back. Follow up within 72 hours. So when you're meeting people in these groups, make sure you follow up and you let them know that you appreciated the opportunity to meet them. So the you factor, again, is leveraging the one single thing that no one else can offer. And the final thoughts are that, I believe that your you factor is your superpower. So embrace it fully. Because if you do, you're not only going to build a business, you're going to build relationships, trust, and lasting impact because of you and your business. The you factor is the key that turns ordinary moments into extraordinary opportunities. And when you nurture it, you create the kind of impact that only you can make. Thank you.
Wow, Caprice, that was absolutely stunning. And it was like every single slide had one of those aha moments for me. So I don't even know how to make comments or ask questions because I have so many. But how about anyone else? Any questions or comments for Caprice? This is just a beautiful presentation.
That's such great reminders. It's things that we've heard in the past from various things, but it's hard to do sometimes. And it's such a great reminder of how important that is. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I do remember one big aha was the posting authentically on social media. And I will never forget the first time I saw Lauren LaHave starting to put out these fun reels with just her and her daughters. And it was like no makeup in schlumpy jammies. And, if you guys have ever seen Lauren dressed to the nines, she is glamorous and amazing and beautiful. And I think just seeing her do that, just like you were talking about Caprice, gave me confidence to do that. And it's hard because we're kind of groomed to put our best face forward and especially on social media when you only get from here up, right? But that's such a good reminder for me. And it's part of a larger process of letting go of the perfectionism and just showing up as me, unpolished and unfiltered. So
Which is it is hard. I mean, I can't claim that there haven't been times where I've thought, oh, I can't do a video now because I don't look good.
No,
So it is hard.
I love that also, that piece, because the one person I follow that just shows up no matter how she looks is Mel Robbins. She
oh,
today walking, her nose was so red because it was cold outside. She had no makeup on. She just was walking. It was freezing out, you could tell. And there was no anything, it was just her, just so blatantly her. And you fall in love with people that do that. And I'm like that Caprice. I look at myself and go, oh my gosh, for posterity, I'm going to put this out there. So it is a great reminder and for people to see our vulnerability. And that is our vulnerability right there.
Mhm.
So it was great.
Absolutely. Any other questions or
Oh, and
comments
Caprice,
for
your
Caprice?
top matched your slides.
Oh, cool.
I
didn't
know. I know. I know you didn't plan it, but I thought, oh my gosh, she's talking about, being authentic and branding and, whatever. And I'm going, but does she realize how great she looks next to her slides? It was really good. The slides,
That's
great
funny.
information, Caprice. Really,
I
really.
think Randy matches my slides too. She would have
Yes, she
made it.
does. Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you. It's
Well, Caprice, I feel like this could be main stage at one of our Juice Plus lives. I mean, this was just an incredible presentation, and clearly so much of your own authenticity and heart went into it. So I just so thank you
and
for blessing us and always being so willing when I reach out to just say yes. And yeah,
Caprice is
appreciate you.
definitely,
Thank
she's a
you.
Yeah,
giver.
Randy.
Caprice is a giver. Real
She
quick,
is.
also, just for
Ran-
next week, it's interesting, next week on tips and tools. I didn't know exactly what you were doing, but our tips and tools next week is also about we didn't call it the U factor, but being very clear about what you have to offer as your own authentic self. And we have a slightly different way to do it. And it's going to be a really good follow-up, Caprice, to what you did tonight. I mean, everything you said, I thought, oh my God, this is like as if we planned it. This was like a great setup. So if some of you want to get in and dig a little bit deeper about who you are and what you have to offer, we've got another kind of exercise to go through. And I think this is the kind of thing that takes a lot of work. It's not a one and done thing.
Mhm.
And I love the phrase, I wrote it down. Is it okay if I tell you what I stand for? Or I love that. Oh my gosh. Fabulous.
It's wonderful. Randy, I saw your hand
Yeah,
up.
I
Yeah.
have a question for Caprice. What do you tell people that are highly good at encouraging others and maybe a little less comfortable with saying wonderful things about themselves?
Mhm.
Well,
For the
that's where
youth
Nikki
factor, like
said that.
I'm great, but I can tell you everything wonderful about the ladies on this call, but then I'm like, me? What's special about me? So that's
Well,
my
that's a great question.
It
And
is
It
that's,
made me a little uncomfortable.
yeah, it's not uncommon, and that's why this exercise, I would spend a little bit more time with really just putting down everything that I mean, it sounds like you have a tough time loving things about yourself, right? Because it's really easy for all of us to love on others. That's really easy. I do it too. And I probably would have a more difficult time doing it as much for myself. I kind of do shy back a little bit because I love to elevate people. So that's understandable. I would spend more time on that exercise. And then think about, it's a purpose thing. There's a purpose that you have that Kirsten doesn't have, that Nikki doesn't have, and those things have value. And if you keep them to yourself, then no one else will ever experience that value. So I think that exercise is important, and I would recommend you show up next week on the call that Nikki's talking about, because that'll help you deepen that belief and that love for yourself. And we're not bragging. We're not bragging. Yeah.
That's I guess another thing. I mean, like I don't want to seem like I'm bragging, or I don't want to seem like I love myself too much. I
Well,
don't
we're
know.
not really talking about loving ourselves anyway. It's really
Right.
just, what are all your experiences, the things that you can connect with others that might be able to resonate, with someone else.
And
So we're not
I'm
really
gonna watch
blatantly.
this all over again in the recording so
Great.
that I can
and
experience it again.
I
Yeah.
would encourage you to sit, and I remember being I used to start off a lot of our group meetings and stuff to go around the room and introduce yourself. And I remember once I was at someone's house and I said, just tell one thing you love about yourself. Just tell one thing you love about yourself. And I'm not going to say any names, but you would be blown away by this person, because you all know her and she's confident and out there and whatever. And she said, well, I can't do that. Can I say what I love about somebody else? And I said, actually, we're not going to move on until you say what you love, one thing about yourself. And she could, and finally I said, well, I love your laugh. Can you think of one thing? It doesn't, it's like, we're not asking you to say, I'm Mother Teresa. Like, you could just say, I love how I am with dogs. Like, but I'm going to encourage you,
Right.
Randy, in the privacy of your own home to sit with yourself and see what are the magical qualities. What do I love about me? Not what, sometimes unique gets scary because I had somebody do what's unique about you the other day and I couldn't think of one thing unique. But
And it's also not all the things that you love about yourself. It's all the things just about yourself.
yes,
You know? So when you're doing those exercises, it's just all the things about yourself.
yeah.
And so in the example Nikki just gave about your laugh, let's just say you have an amazing, unique laugh, or maybe it's a terrible laugh. It's loud and obnoxious. You could write about that in a story on social media, and I bet you would have, a lot of people commenting that, oh gosh, my laugh, people have always given me a bad time about my laugh. It's just a way to interact with people so that you never know what's going to come out of those things.
Caprice, you saying what you're saying just now really shifted what I understood you saying earlier and how to use it. For example, the idea that you would have a bad laugh or something, or that you hiccup a lot or whatever, that those are things that are relatable in some way. I didn't get that earlier. So I'm so glad we're having this conversation and dug a little bit deeper. I really didn't put all that together. So
Yeah,
thank you.
because it's write down anything about yourself, anything about yourself, what
That makes sense.
and that's why I said free flow, right? Don't really think about it.
Yeah.
I've got long curly black hair. My first car was a Chevrolet. My nickname was, just anything about yourself, because
That's
those will
beautiful,
all inspire
Caprice. I did
stories.
not get that. I don't know how many other people didn't, or it was just me, but man, this clarified a lot just now, this last 50 seconds.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, good question. And we're over time, Randy. You really opened up a really great not can of worms, something really good.
I love
Thank
it.
you.
I feel like this is, as Nikki said, this is just going to pave the way for next week. So, in the spirit of loving and appreciating ourselves, maybe we can just use this as an opener and an invitation to keep going on this work about who we are and what uniqueness we bring. And we get to do more of it next week
Yeah.
on the
Caprice,
18th.
thank you. This was lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
so
thank you so
much.
much, Kirsten and Caprice.
Thank you.
Great.
Really enjoyed it,
everybody.
Caprice. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kirsten.
Thank
Bye.
you.